I was like,
what's going on right now?
I know. And the Ferrari dealer took off.
Right.
He left.
Yeah.
He went to Moscow, but I could never get back with him.
Yeah.
That was going to Ukraine was really an eye opener, but I like the place, even for what it is. I mean, even though their buildings and everything are not up to what we have, the people are pretty friendly.
Isn't that interesting? Europe and Russia, their buildings are very. They are different. It's like run. It's not
dated.
It's not like slums, but there's just not a lot of.
Well, they build a building to last about 100 years.
Yeah.
And it looks like it.
Yeah, literally. It's they look rough sometimes, you know.
When I flew to the Crimea, back then it was still Ukraine's. That was before they took over, and we landed on a runway. It was probably 2 or 3 miles long, and we come up to this place, and it looked like a pillbox, and that was the airport. I was like, I called my buddy Tim while I was sitting in the airplane, you know, because you could talk on your cell phone if you wanted, and I'm going, I think I made a big mistake coming. And he said, "I'll just go through it. It might be all right. You can get on a plane tomorrow and come back." I said, "Well, I got to go to Moscow first, then come home." You know, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just give it a try." And I was meeting somebody over there too, and I was going to stay 7 days. I stayed 14 because I met a nice, friendly girl over there, and she showed me around over there. It was pretty nice. I saw a lot of good places. It was, like I said, I felt very comfortable, no problems. People were actually pretty nice to me, and I didn't know a word of Russian, not one.
I know a couple of guys from the Czech that they go to Ukraine all the time. They really like the Ukraine, the people, you know. So
yeah, it's the people after you. They're not going to look you in the eye and talk to you, but once you sit down and talk to them, they open right up, and they're friendly and
they like Americans, and the dollar goes a long way there. Like, man,
oh yeah, their dollar,
like crazy. They were telling me that. Yeah, you know, $150 is a night out on the town. I mean, that gets you a 5-star hotel. I mean, your table service. Like, you are a king for $150. Like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
depends on which one place you go to.
yeah. Oh, but that's interesting, man. So just selling all the boats all over the world. I mean, literally from Bajas to Eliminators to, you know, MTIs, like you said, getting into catamarans, just literally from 80 miles an hour to, you know, 165. I mean, you've done it all. It's just amazing, you know. People you've met. I mean, it's a cool story, man, being in the business you're in. Not a lot of guys are in it. I mean, you know, so, I mean, you're one of the biggest boat dealers, you know, I mean, I think in Texas or even the South U.S., I mean, like I said, there's nobody else selling boats this fast in this part of the country. You know, you got Florida, Ozarks, California, but, I mean, if you want a boat that goes 160 down here, I mean, you call Bruce, and that's the way it is.
Well, it's like I said, it's a passion. Just like your passion, Jordan.
Yeah.
You have a passion of what you're doing, and you stick with it. You have your ups and downs, just like everybody in business. You know, you have to learn with it, and what works for you might not work for somebody else. But
right.
You stick with it. You know, in our business, we stick with our customers, our clients. We want to be there for them, for whatever it might be. You try your best. You can't please everybody, but you try. You know, you just try to do that. I mean, I meet people from everywhere now. I mean, people in Houston are from all over the world.
That's very true. That's very true. A lot of my customers I've sold boards to, and they're living in Houston, working in Houston, going to school in Houston, but they are from somewhere else in the world. But we're so diverse now. They say that we're almost more diverse than New York City.
No, actually, Houston's the most diverse city in the country. Yeah,
right now, and this is this is true.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. I had a guy call me a little over a week ago, and I couldn't hardly understand him. He had a real heavy accent, and he wanted to come see me and talk about boats. So he came over. He was from Romania.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, I got to look at the map to see where that's from. You know, I mean,
right? Yeah.
But he was very nice and very articulate, and he said it was his first boat. And he was looking at a cat, and I said, "You sure you want to do that? You know, because you want to kind of take it easy." And I said, "What kind of car do you drive?" He says, some kind of Mercedes that was real fast." I was like, "Okay,
some AMG or something."
You know, whatever, you know, I'll teach you, but you know, let's take it a step at a time because I don't want to just throw you in there.
Yeah.
And hopefully next week we're going to take him for a ride in one of the cats and
Nice.
see how he reacts.
Sure.
I just want to see, if somebody is scared, I just this is probably not for you.
So it's almost like you pre-qualify them if they're up for the boat, huh? A little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
because just because they have a lot of money doesn't mean anything. I mean, that means they can afford to buy the boat, but can they really
drive it?
Yeah. Do they have the ability to not, just freeze or get in a situation they can't get out of? Like the turns and stuff. I mean, it's a process, just like with your boards, Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to teach them. They just don't just get up the first time all the time.
Yeah, it's a process,
it's you got to learn, and
that's, and I mean, a jet surfboard, that's not near as complicated as these, machines that you're selling. I mean, these things are so advanced now, and I mean, like you said, there is a lot. We're dealing with 12, 15 horsepower. You're over here dealing with, horsepower that, I mean, they got to be comfortable. They got to know what they're getting into, and there's a lot of guys that are down for that, but like you said, they got to be almost implemented into that, or that kind of broken into that. Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fanatic for Mercury Racing.
Yeah,
they've done a very good job with their 1100s, 1350s, 1550s, 1650s, even the 1750s we have in our race boat.
Man, 1750. This is 1750 horsepower.
Right.
And it's how many motors are on there?
We put 2 in there, so it's 3,500 horsepower.
Wow, man!
But we're in a boat that weighs 15,000 pounds, and we got to try and run close to 180 to keep up with who we're running with.
Sure. Yeah, and that bracket that you're in horsepower and length, and
because we're so big, we're not as fast as some of the smaller boats.
Right. Yeah, this is kind of interesting too. That's an interesting concept.
We bought the boat for the rough water races. That's the reason why we got that size of boat. And of course, at Key West, it gets rough, but not that rough. And other boats accelerate a little faster, but when if it starts getting rough, we have the advantage. But we've been very lucky with the motors. The 1750s, they warned me and said they wouldn't last more than 2 races. We got as much as 12 hours out of them, which is almost unheard of. And it's a very good motor package. They've come a long ways. I mean, they really have. It's Mercury Racing is, to me, the top in our profession, and we can build on that if we have to.
So, do they pretty much dominate the market as far as the motors in this type of boat?
Well, they do in the outboard market. The inboard market, there are other engine manufacturers, but it's hard to beat Mercury Racing because they have the technology. It's a twin turbo setup, which they put bigger and bigger turbos in to make the horsepower. But they're very reliable, very comfortable around the docking. They don't die on you. That's a big thing with the motors with all the horsepower, is coming into a dock and docking too, without dying.
Kind of finessing it, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to finesse it into the dock, and if one of the motors dies, and the wind's blowing, you got a problem.
Right.
It's just that's a part of the teaching we do with it in the docking. We teach people how to do it. I try to take them over to South Shore Harbor, and teach them on a windy day, so on a regular day it's not so bad. But that's the part that intimidates everybody the most.
Sure. No, I tell a story. I tell a story about a buddy of mine that had a Sea Ray that, and this is back in the old Seabrook Beach Club days. I just remember him. I mean, he probably had more boat than he could handle, and I just remember us coming into the Seabrook Beach Club one time, and him coming too quick at the docks, and that sound of wood splintering, and everybody at once going ooh, and turning around and looking at you. Yeah, I witnessed that firsthand. That was funny.
It does. It's like I said, it's the most intimidating part of running a boat. Is for especially all my clients, the first thing they do is say, "Oh, you dock it. I can't do that."
Right.
And I'm like,
you got to learn.
Wait a minute, it's your boat.
Yeah.
You have to learn. And I learned with the smaller boats years ago. I'm not the best. I mean, I can do it. I do it with our race boat, but.
Oh, I've seen you park a few boats over there. Yeah, you do a pretty good job.
Well, you keep trying, okay? Like I said, I don't know everything. I keep trying, okay? I don't give up,
It's tough, though, when you're dealing with the 38, 42, 50-foot boat. I mean, these things aren't your average, ski boat that anybody can go and park. I mean, it takes it's a little bit more power, a little bit harder to turn around. So there's definitely it takes some practice. Like you said, they gotta know they can handle that.
I know the most difficult one I had was at the shootout at the Ozarks in 2015. I did 3 boats there. I did a 42 MTI, I did a 36 Skater, and I did a 40 MTI. And the toughest one was the 42, and I had about an inch on each side to get into the slip.
Wow.
And I'm like, good Lord, how am I going to do this? And the wind's blowing, and you got 5,000 people watching you.
Oh yeah, that's the thing with
That's
boats.
the part.
Everybody thinks they can park a boat better than you, right? Yeah, it's
Well,
ridiculous.
yeah, you're sitting there going, boy, if I do something bad here, there, I'm going to never hear the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got it in there, but I was sweating bullets, I promise you.
That's awesome. So what's up next for the I mean, obviously travel's been kind of limited because I know one of your claims is we come to your location anywhere in the world, but obviously you've been kind of limited, as we all have as far as travel goes. But I guess I think some things are kind of there's more options now, but what's the future look like here, for your business?
My first trip, I think, will be to Dubai.
Okay.
They're asking for different products, like we talked about, putting in a container and sending it to them.
Nice.
I also have an offer to go back to Antalya, Turkey. I sold 2 boats over there
Turkey?
to a
That's
guy that
interesting,
owns their family owns a bunch of hotels on the beaches there.
Oh, nice.
It's really a pretty nice place.
Right? Yeah.
The town it's pretty old. And Turkey's an old country.
True.
I mean,
They've had some financial problems, their economy and banking and stuff. So probably one of those really rich or, there's no middle class. You're either buying $1 million boats or you can't get money out of the ATM.
It's such a dynamic spot, right where Europe and Asia meet, right? I mean,
right.
yeah.
Well, you fly to Istanbul, and then you take a smaller jet to Antalya, which is on the other side of the mountains.
Wow, okay.
But Istanbul is, wow. It makes New York City look small.
Yeah, it's one of the true mega cities in the world. Yeah.
Really? Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I've been to the airport, I think once or twice for a refuel, but I've never
Did you-
been into the city.
Did you go into the airport?
No, I think it was literally refuel. We were literally parked, regassed, stayed on the plane. I've been to Ireland twice, got off the plane, went in the airport, got back on the plane. I think Istanbul, we stayed on the plane.
You never seen so many people there in your life from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Every walk of life you can imagine. They actually had, that airport is, I never seen so many planes, and they're all Turkish airline planes. They probably had, at their busiest time, they got like 50 gates. They probably had 100 planes there.
Turkish Airlines.
Turkish.
Yeah.
It's not a bad airlines
Wow.
to fly.
No, they're another good airlines.
Yep,
Yeah,
they are. I mean, they fly from here to, you fly to Istanbul, and then you go to different countries. Right now, you can fly to Turkey. You can fly to Dubai. You can't go to Russia. You can't go to Ukraine. You can't go to, you can go to Sweden. You can't go to Finland. There are certain places you can go. I mean, right now, they are starting to fly from Houston. I saw that, I think, a week ago,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. But they are starting that process. It's just like everything else. You got to walk before you can run. You got to.
Of course, yeah.
They're flying 3 or 4 flights a day, or maybe now they're going to
And
go.
Texas is definitely walking, not running. But yeah.
Well, the rest of the world's crawling.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
California and New York is. Whew.
Yeah, at least we're walking, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I was in the wife and I. We went to Kima Saturday night, and I would say we're running. I mean, it was like actually more
all right.
packed than it was during spring break 2 years
This was
ago.
Sunday.
This was actually the same night that apparently there's a shooting, but that's a whole other story.
Oh,
but
wow,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there was line.
They had a shooting over there?
Yeah, they had a shooting in Kima. Yeah. at
Oh,
2
I
o'clock.
ran some boards through there that weekend. I had one of
No,
my
it was
trainers.
Saturday night.
Okay.
We went. For the first time in a while. Got baby. Actually, the kids went off to the grandparental units, and little date night. Went to Bacchus, but Voodoo, Scallywags. I mean, packed, crazy. I mean,
Wow.
I think there's a lot. I think people are coming from Harris County into Galveston County to party. I think that's what's
Well,
happening, yeah.
this is where the water's at. People
Yeah,
want to hang out
yeah.
on the water, and I'm glad they're opening their doors up again. So yeah, I know
Yeah,
we're.
so-
I think it's just a matter of time. It's all
Yeah, I
going to
think
slowly open. I mean, it's just like the schools. They just started back to
True.
regular
Yeah.
schools. I mean, here, not everywhere,
Yeah.
but here. And it's going to be the same way everywhere. Everybody. We have to get back to not social distancing. We have to get back to social interaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
We have
true.
to get back to the people that we are.
Yeah.
You know, we're used to shaking hands, hugging, whatever. I mean, that's natural to talk
Yeah,
to
it
people.
is. Yeah.
Shake hands. I mean, my grandfather taught me that when I was